I'd like to welcome everyone here today. I'm Stephen Garvey, founder and leader of National Citizens Alliance. I'm here with Roger Walker, NCA member from Southern Alberta. And I want to welcome you here today, Roger, and thank you for joining us. Roger has a background in money supply and the big financial picture. So we've already done a couple of videos on the big financial picture. But we're going to dig a little deeper today because we want you to understand, you and your family, the impact of what's happening with the money supply in Canada today. So I'm going to get right into it, Roger. And so we were discussing earlier, and you made it clear that the paper money is an IOU. What do you mean by that?
Well, it's a currency, a fiat currency. And as an IOU, it's debt. Money is not debt, money is wealth.
Right, and so this paper money is just paper, it's actually not real money.
No, it's a promise or an IOU.
And a fiat is fake currency?
Fake currency, which is what all currencies are, because unless they're gold or silver backed by precious metals or some commodity like oil or...
Right.
Or the hard work of the citizenry building hospitals, highways, and schools.
Okay, or businesses.
Or businesses.
Right, exactly. So, because the paper has no latent value, like you just said, what value does it have at all?
The only value it has is your faith in that currency that it's worth something.
Because at the end of the day, it's just ones and zeros on paper.
And the banks just keep adding zeros. That's why we have trillions and quadrillions.
So it's worthless, the paper itself, right? You could...
Pennies on the dollar compared to 1913 when the U.S. dollar was created. It's worth pennies now compared to what it would buy in 1913.
Right. And in 1972, Pierre Trudeau shifted the public lending rate, the ability to print our money, everyone, from the Bank of Canada to commercial banks.
Central banks.
Central banks.
Run by groups like the Bilderberger Group, a European entity of the Federal Reserve.
Interesting. So these, the central banking system is printing our money. Is that correct?
Yes, and they print it with interest. Whereas before 1974 and Trudeau's crime of an unconstitutional Bank of Canada, our money was printed and it was lent to the provinces at zero interest. They only paid back the principal with no interest. That's called washed or cleansed money so that there can be no inflation.
Wow. So how much money of ours is being printed?
We don't know because it's all a big secret. They keep it to themselves. They're printing it through the roof because they're buying back their stocks and their bonds and their government treasuries and their municipal bonds. They're buying it with their own fake currency that they just keep printing.
Yeah, and how is this causing inflation?
Well, as they come up with more currency, as they buy more of their bonds, there's more base money, or base currency, pardon me, in the system, and that's inflation. It deflates the value of the currency because it's an endless stream. As there's more and more, it's worth less and less.
And also because it's fiat, too.
It's fiat
on top
currency.
of it.
It's a promissory note.
Yeah, so everyone out there, inflation is the cost of living. So what Roger's saying, if I hear you correctly, is that the more they print, the more Canadian money, the less value it has. And that's what they're doing.
Unlike real money, which in 1962 was a silver dime and would buy a gallon of gas. Well, that same silver dime today will buy a gallon of gas or somewhat less.
Does the federal government have any say over what they're printing?
Oh, no, the banks are a free entity. They roll on their own.
And Pierre Trudeau and the establishment sold us out in 1972. Why did he do that? Did he get anything in return?
Well, it's my understanding that the Trudeau family owns Lafarge Incorporated. That's quite a return.
Okay, so that's your suspicion there. So is this creating a false economy in Canada?
It's all a false economy. Just look at the stocks and bonds, the stock market, and they're buying back their own companies with their fake currency, the fiat currency that's not yours. It's a promissory note.
And what about the bail-in legislation coming out of the federal government?
Well, they're once again, when you put your money into their bank, it's not your currency, it's theirs.
And they can actually come into your bank now in an extreme downturn and take your savings.
Just like they've done in Cyprus and other countries around the world.
Okay. Wow. So what do you see happening in the future? Because this is all based on fiat currency, fake currency.
And your faith in that currency, that those ones and zeros on a piece of paper has value. I see that coming to an end. I see you losing faith in that corrupt fiat system.
Yeah. And what about all these massive interest payments? I calculated, Roger, that we're paying as a country $64 billion a year nationally in debt service payments to these central banks.
That's slavery to the, once again, to the fiat system that you're going to lose faith in.
Okay, so how can we help the Canadian people?
Well, we can go back to the Constitutional Bank of Canada that prints our money and gives it to the provinces to spend, so the contractors can earn that dollar and give it a value at zero interest. So no matter how long it takes the province to pay that money back to the Bank of Canada, it never goes up with compounded interest. Compounded interest is slavery.
Yeah, there you heard it. This is something we stand behind, everyone. So we're asking you, if you support our message today and the agenda of the National Citizens Alliance, to join us, donate to us, become a member, volunteer, run in 2019. You know, what we're going to do is reinstitute a true Bank of Canada where we will have control. You, the people, will have control over the printing of the Canadian dollar, the true Canadian dollar.
Instead of the politicians and the central bankers and the Federal Reserve of the world.
Yeah, so thank you very much. If you like this message, please share it. And have a good night. God bless our people and our country.
Thank you.
Thank you.